Hello and welcome to the very first episode of DraftKings Week 1 First Look. I'm your host, Jacob Brown, and we are here today to talk about the best plays for Week 1. Now, I am not technical savvy, but I do know a lot about fantasy football, and I would love to be your guide into your week-to-week preparations for your weeks. We'll go over gameplay, proper roster construction, proper contest selection, you name it, we got it right here. And this is not a permanent first look. We got about 2 weeks until the season starts. I just kind of wanted to go through some interesting roster constructions. This is not my first look, but I hope it's your first look into researching, and I hope that we can make some money together this season. So let's get after it. We'll go position by position here, and then at the end we'll make a couple different lineups, and let's do it. All right, first off, we got the GOAT, Patrick Mahomes. 8,100. That's not a bad price, but you don't really want him any higher than that. Last year, I think the highest he got was like 8,300. And he performs, guys. 8,500 was the highest he was all season. But I mean, even that week he was 8,500. He got you there. I mean, still 20.22 DraftKings points. I mean, not the best week, but not the worst week. He's consistent. 26.2 fantasy points a game. But you guys already know that. He's got some great stacking options. And this year, I really feel like that the passing core is going to be a lot smaller than it usually is. I mean, I'm sure CEH, hopefully his ankle's good, but I'm sure Clyde Edwards-Helaire will be more involved in the passing game. And then you got guys like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, who are the usual suspects. These two guys, they wreak havoc, and they're some of the best pass catchers in the league. And later in the video, I'll show you how, especially in week 1, this is a combo that you will be able to get to. I mean, you might not feel perfect about it. It might be something that you want to play in a large field GPP. We'll get there. But that is something that is possible, getting these two pass catchers. And then you also got Hardman. Look, this is his first year without Sammy Watkins trying to take snaps. I know last year Watkins was on and off a little bit throughout the year, but I mean, look, he averaged 8.2 fantasy points per game last year. Do I think he'll be a little better this year? Absolutely. I think he at least gets you to 10 fantasy points per game. And if you look at the last couple weeks of the season, he performs 12.4, 10.2. That's pretty impressive if you are a third or fourth string wide receiver. I know Sammy Watkins missed some games last year. You come around, he's got another couple good games in a row. 7.4, 10.7, 12.0. And then he has this big game against the New York Jets. He's got upside. And I think he'll be a great guy to stack Tyreek Hill with or with Travis Kelce in weeks to come. I'm personally considering doing it in week 1, depending on how many lineups we get a Patrick Mahomes. And then you also got a really cheap DeMarcus Robinson. Now, he's not my favorite cheap option by no means on this slate, but he gets you there. I mean, stack him with Kelce, stack him with Hill, and he gets you there. He's not a great receiver, but he's a great deep threat whenever Tyreek Hill is not around. I mean, he got 3 touchdowns last season. I think he's got a little more upside this year. I mean, he's been with the team longer than Hardman. I think he's got a good rapport with Patrick Mahomes, and I really think that these are the only options for Patrick Mahomes in week 1. And I think these will be his favorite targets throughout the regular season. One guy we can talk about, but I mean, I really don't think he's going to be a huge option. But Jerick McKinnon, he is an interesting option, especially right now. We're not sure how serious this injury to Clyde Edwards-Helaire is, but Jerick McKinnon, he was pretty good last year, and I really think he's like the perfect complement to a guy like CEH. I mean, they're built almost the exact same way, and they would be used the exact same way if CEH were to be out, and he would be a great value at 4,100. I think he'd be the lock of the week if we got word that CH was going to be out for week 1. But he's a great pass catcher too, guys. He can catch the ball. Let's check his stats here. I mean, all last season, I mean, he got catches. He didn't score any receiving touchdowns, but he got yards, guys. I mean, look here. Week 1, San Francisco, he got 20 yards, 39 yards against the Giants, 43 yards. Week 4, games he started, expect 30 to 40 yards. I mean, his fantasy points were pretty good. I mean, 13.4. These first 4 or 5 weeks, he started all those games, and that was his point total. I mean, he's gonna get you there. I mean, he's good. So keep an eye on him for the regular season. And yeah, so these are the guys you want to target in this game for this team. Stack Patrick Mahomes with Tyreek Hill, Hardman, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. It can happen, and later on when we make our lineups, I'll show you that you can make this Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce stack happen. But yeah, highest point total. It's going to be an interesting game. But let's go on to the next quarterback as we get to Kyler Murray. Now, I think this is my most anticipated game on the slate. Kyler Murray, I think this could be his MVP year. Last year, he had a great start. And then after that game with Buffalo, we kind of saw his play decrease a bit. He had a shoulder injury that kind of made him go a little bit south. But overall, I mean, if he would have continued his high level of play, I mean, look, we got some weeks here where he scored 41 DraftKings points. He's going to meet your salary. This might be the lowest we see him all season, salary-wise, at $7,600. This could be the lowest. But this guy, he's got great mobile ability. He's got a good arm. And this receiving core is revamped, and we'll go through that right now. But look, Kyler Murray for week 1, I'm not really sold on a lot of the passing options. I mean, you got Chase Edmonds. I'm not really excited to play him with James Conner at the helm. Depending on my roster percentage of Kyler Murray will depend on how much Chase Edmonds I get. I don't really see myself rostering Chase Edmonds if Kyler Murray's not in the lineup. And the reason why I say that is Kyler Murray is probably going to be the leading rusher for this team. And with that being said, if you got Kyler Murray being the leading rusher, he's a backup running back compared to Kyler Murray. You get these two guys, Edmonds might have a good game, Murray might have a good game, and you combine those two together and you get more upside. But that's not something I really strategize for. If we get like 40 plus lineups with Kyler Murray in it, you better believe I'll have some Chase Edmonds. But other than that, I'm not playing him this week. Chase Edmonds, he's got the best receiving upside out of him and James Conner. And him and James Conner are projectedly going to be taking the most snaps out of this backfield. So he's somebody I'll play a bit, but I'm not too excited about. And then you got the man, DeAndre Hopkins. Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins will probably be the best 1v1 stack. Just due to the fact that that's what we know. We saw them go crazy last year together, and I think that's the only 1v1 stack that really makes sense. I'm not too excited about this receiving core. The only other player I really like is Rondell Moore, and he's a rookie, so we can't expect the world out of him. But at 3K, we can expect him to meet the minimum point value. I think, if I can get him on the freaking screen, but I think we can meet his point value. He's only 3K. That's really impressive by any means that he's that low. I love that DraftKings came out with these prices a month later, because if we would have heard the hype on Rondell Moore like we have the last 2 weeks since preseason started, I really believe he would have been in the 4K range, maybe even 4,500. This guy is going to be used in this offense. He's going to be very valuable to Cliff Kingsbury's offense. Now we go to a less favorable option in AJ Green, and he's good. I mean, the price isn't too bearable. $3,800. He's newly acquired. I think he will be a good pinpoint to this offense. But you really are going to want DeAndre Hopkins and Rondell Moore in your lineup if you're playing Kyler Murray. And lastly, I really don't know what to think about Christian Kirk. He's kind of just been a disappointment the last couple of years. I think he could be a really sneaky play because a lot of people are going to be playing Rondell Moore. Expect Rondell Moore to be highly owned, especially in single entries, if they're playing Kyler Murray, they're probably playing DeAndre Hopkins, and they're probably playing Rondell Moore. I think Christian Kirk is a good play just off the sense that he's going overlooked because these two guys are a little cheaper. I think they will be higher owned. Christian Kirk, on the other hand, he will start. I don't know if he'll start over Rondell Moore. I don't know if he'll start over AJ Green. But it really looks like he will. Look at the price point. We got a couple weeks left before preseason's over. Those final depth charts will come out, and I expect him to be the starter. Will he get more snaps than Rondell Moore? Probably not. I think he could outsnap AJ Green. And with Rondell Moore and DeAndre Hopkins out there, and you got the rushing threat of Kyler Murray, you better believe they're going to defend these guys more than they would these two guys. So expect these two guys to get open a little bit more. And can Christian Kirk rip off for one? You bet. I remember a couple years ago, he had a great game. I can't remember who they played, but this guy came out there. He got like 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards. It was the same day Will Fuller went off. And if you had those two guys, like, you pretty much won that week because they just went crazy together. But yeah, Christian Kirk, sneaky play. But these are the main options. And the main one will obviously be Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins and running back with their opponent. And then you can stack them, DeAndre Hopkins with Chase Edmonds or Rondell Moore or AJ Green or Christian Kirk. I wouldn't take out Hopkins and stack Hopkins with... I wouldn't do a stack without Hopkins. Let's just put it that way. But if you got like 30-plus lineups with Kyler Murray and you're at 150s, of course, you can do a little Rondell Moore, Christian Kirk, Rondell Moore, AJ Green. I just wouldn't go too heavy into that. Hopkins is your main go-to piece when you're doing a Kyler Murray stack. But this is another game we're going to get back to later. I really like this game. Probably the most... I think this is the game I want to see the most in week 1, Sunday. This is the game I really want to watch. This is probably going to be the best game of the week, and I'm looking forward to this game. But let's get to the third quarterback here. I'm really not interested in Josh Allen. I really think this game is going a bit overboard. I understand Josh Allen was the best fantasy quarterback last year, but there is some downside here. There is some regression here, and I just don't really feel good about this game. I mean, Pittsburgh's got a good defense, but their offensive line is bad. I'll get some pieces here and there of this game, but Josh Allen is not somebody I really want to play. So we'll just move on from that. Russell Wilson. He's somebody that I think is going to go kind of low owned this week because you got Kyler Murray, you got Patrick Mahomes, and you got some of these cheaper options down here. I think he's going to fall by the wayside. I really do. And, he's got his usual suspects to throw to. If you played DFS last year, the first 6 or 7 weeks of the regular season, you knew who to play. It was Russell Wilson. It was DK Metcalf. It was Tyler Lockett. It was this trio, right? This trio right here won a lot of tournaments last year. A lot. Especially in the first 6 or 7 weeks of the regular season. There was a game against Dallas last year that just went to the wire. It was crazy. Russell Wilson just played absolutely insane. he's got a couple new weapons this year that I'm kind of excited about. First off, Dwayne Eskridge, he's a rookie. I mean, I don't really expect him to do a lot in week 1, but he's a cheap stacking option if you don't want to go heavy, because this is heavy salary right here for these 3 guys with Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. So if you want to go DK Metcalf, Dwayne Eskridge, that's a cheap stack. And if Dwayne Eskridge just gets like 1 catch, 2 catch for like 20 yards, 30 yards, he meets salary. I mean, he's so cheap. It's a great stacking option. I really like this stack with DK Metcalf and Dwayne Eskridge. If I get to Russell Wilson, I'm not 100% sold on getting to Russell Wilson. I think he will be really low owned. I think he will be overlooked. We just got to kind of wait and see what happens when we get closer into the regular season. We still got about 2 weeks left. Let's see final roster cuts. But one more player I want to talk about is their newly acquired tight end, Gerald Everett. And we hear nothing but good things about Gerald Everett out of camp. And this guy is another good stacking option, cheap stacking option. $3,400 for a starting tight end. We know Russell Wilson likes to pepper his tight ends. Sometimes we don't know which one he's going to pepper that specific week. But I think this tight end pool is a little smaller than usual. And I really like the options here, the ideas here. You could easily do DK Metcalf, Gerald Everett. You could easily do DK Metcalf, Dwayne Eskridge, and stack it with their opponent, which if we get back to this game later, we will talk about this game. But I'm like 50-50 on this game right now, and I'm not sure if I will get to it personally. Russell Wilson, though, could be a great option in week 1. Just to be known, though, the Colts are at home. Seattle's on the road. The Colts got a really good defense. They've made some big acquisitions in the offseason. I don't think this game, even if Carson Wentz doesn't play, I don't think this game is going to be a walk in the park for the Seahawks. I really don't. I mean, they're on the road. They got a good defense. Colts got a good running game. They could slow this game down. That's my main concern for this game. But let's move on to the next quarterback. Sean Watson, not going to play. I'm just not even going to discuss it. Aaron Rodgers, out of the quarterbacks I just mentioned so far, he's my 3rd favorite. I will be getting after Aaron Rodgers, and there's a lot of reasons. This could be the last dance for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. He's the former MVP. He's awesome. And look at the price. I mean, if you told me Aaron Rodgers was $6,800 in a week 1 season, I would think, dang, he must have had an off year. I mean, look at him, $6,800. I really want to see, like last year he had some weeks where he was over $6,800. I mean, $7,900 here, $7,500 there. He is a $7,500 quarterback, I think, especially this week. And I think he's really underpriced. And I think he'll be owned just because of all the attention he's got this offseason. I think he will be owned and he will be played a lot. And you know the usual suspects here. We got Davante Adams, Um, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones might be my favorite running back on this slate. He's just got a lot of upside. And he knows, we know what he can do. Aaron Jones and Davante Adams stack is very viable. Very viable in week 1. And Aaron Rodgers, we'll build a roster with him later. Aaron Rodgers is someone I definitely want to get on for the regular season. Now, let's get back to the quarterbacks. Not really going to play Justin Herbert in week 1. I can see why you want to. I think he will go pretty low owned here, just due to the fact that you got all these quarterbacks up top and some down here at the bottom, and he's kind of in the middle. I'd rather play Aaron Rodgers over Justin Herbert any day. But 2 weeks away, we don't know ownership yet, and we got to wait on that. But Justin Herbert, he's not someone I want to play right now, but that could change. Ryan Tannehill, of course I want to play Ryan Tannehill. I love this game. This game is going to be probably the game of the week, in my opinion. I'm going to get both sides of this game, and we're going to build some stacks with this game here in a little bit that I really like, and I think that everyone should play some of this game. I think you should get Ryan Tannehill. I think you should get Kyler Murray. Ryan Tannehill might be the cash quarterback of the week if you're not playing someone we're going to talk about here in a little bit, and just Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, he will be the most popular quarterback in cash games week 1. There's no doubt in my mind. And for good reason. He's got the upside of a Kyler Murray in the rushing game. He's not as good of a passer as Kyler Murray, but this guy is going to be efficient. He's going to be a great fantasy quarterback. I really don't think you have to stack him. If you want to, though, he's got some stacking options. Probably my favorite pass catcher he has is not even a receiver. It is Dallas Goedert. And then you also got Zach Ertz. Those two guys will probably be the best pass catching options. You also got Miles Sanders. I'm more excited about playing Miles Sanders this week than I am Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts could disappoint at this salary. I'm not saying not to play him. I probably will play him a little bit. But I have no problem here with doing Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert, or Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, and Zach Ertz. For a stack, I think that will be a sneaky stack. I don't think a lot of people are going to stack Hurts and Sanders with a pass catcher. Then, you got some receivers to talk about here, and Davonte Smith, the rookie Heisman winner. I'm just not feeling this hype, guys. I really don't. He's undersized. He hasn't really played much in the preseason. He got 4 targets in that blowout loss. Jalen Hurts didn't play, so we could be fair with that. He didn't play, so we didn't really get to see their rapport. They've played together in college, so they have some chemistry together, but I haven't really seen it shine on this NFL level yet. So I'm more of an wait-and-see approach on how Davonte Smith and Jalen Hurts connect in real-life game situations, because you can hear from beat reporters all you want, how they got a great rapport, but that's practice. Of course they're going to have rapport in practice. They're meant to get reps together in practice, but when you get put in a live game situation, we don't know what's going to happen with these guys. Dallas Goedert, we also hear that Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert are just connecting so perfectly together in practice. So we can bet on that too. Then you get, I think my favorite cheap option from this team, and Jalen Reagor. He is probably the my favorite wide receiver on this team right now, and he's cheaper than Davonte Smith, and I think he will get a lot of looks in week 1. I think he's got something to prove. They drafted him before Justin Jefferson, and he didn't really pan out last year, whether it's because of an injury or just wrong place, wrong time. One thing I will say is for some reason, every year, I don't know if it was the Doug Peterson regime or if it's just bad luck on the Eagles organization, but it just seems like every year they're dealing with injuries more than any team in the league. Hopefully when they got rid of Doug Peterson, they got rid of that training staff. But we'll move on from them. But I'm not super high on this stack, but you could definitely do some damage in some cash games and some tournaments with that. Okay, let's go on to Kirk Cousins. I'm playing Kirk Cousins this week. This is a high point total game. This is probably going to be a shootout. But I could also see a version where Minnesota just wipes the floor with Cincinnati. We'll go over a stack for that a little bit later. Trevor Lawrence. I'm definitely playing Trevor Lawrence this week. In my 150s, he will be a part of it. This Houston Texans team is just going to be god-awful. We already talked earlier, Deshaun Watson. They have the most turnover in their roster this offseason than any team in the league. If there was a game for a rookie quarterback to start, it would be this one. Rookie head coach, most turnover in any roster in the league. This is going to be a field day for Trevor Lawrence, and I would not be surprised if Trevor Lawrence wasn't a top 5 quarterback in this week when it's all said and done. I think he does some damage on the field, and he's got some interesting stacking options as well. We could talk about that real quick. Let's see, Trevor Lawrence, and then you get into the receiving range. I really don't think that Urban Meyer is sold on DJ Chark. And if I'm playing Trevor Lawrence, depending on how many lineups I got, he's my last look at getting a roster position in this stack. But we'll add him in there, but he is not, to me, he's not the number one option. He might be the number one wide receiver, but I really think Urban Meyer is going to get this guy involved more. And I've been hearing great things about him all off season. I've been doing research since late May, early June, and Laviska Shenault is the man. I've heard a lot of good things about him. I think they really want to get him involved, and he is a playmaker. He will get yards. He will get targets. He's coming from the slot. And then to even make things better, I really think this guy is just criminally underpriced. criminally underpriced, Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones, to me, is just probably the best cheap play on the slate. And I will be getting a lot of him in my lineups. Marvin Jones, wow, just amazing. Urban Meyer has been catering to him. Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator, is a former coach of Marvin Jones. He came there for one reason, and one reason only, to be the leader of this receiving corps. And I think, especially in like the first 5 to 10 weeks, he's going to be the go-to guy on third downs, on third and long situations. I really like Marvin Jones. He's probably my favorite mid 3K wide receiver, probably my favorite 3K wide receiver. Best value on the slate so far to me, in my opinion. And that really sums it up. I mean, for this kind of stack, I would definitely go Trevor Lawrence, Laviska Shenault, and Marvin Jones. DJ Chark is my last problem. Travis Etienne, he, on the other hand, he could do some damage. I really don't expect him to be like this big polarizing running back in week 1. But keep an eye on this guy. And I'm not saying that I'm not rostering him in week 1. I said DJ Chark would be my last option on this team, but I really think Travis Etienne will be my last option, and DJ Chark will be my second last option if I had to say so right now. But we got a couple weeks before the regular season starts. I just really like what I see in these two guys, and DJ Chark and Travis Etienne are more of a wait-and-see approach. But I really like Trevor Lawrence, and I really like his pass catchers, and I really think if there were a week for Trevor Lawrence to go over his potential, he should be a top 5 quarterback in week 1. Okay, let's move on here. We've already talked about this game, but I'm really just not interested in playing Ben Roethlisberger. Poor offensive line. He's got some good pass catchers. Might be interested in a couple of them, but not somebody I really want to play. Matt Ryan. I like this game. I think this is another game I think a lot of people want to see since they've looked at the schedules. And I will play Matt Ryan solely on the fact that he's got Calvin Ridley. And Calvin Ridley is probably one of the best wide receivers in the league. He's got a lot to prove this year, being solo without Julio. And then you got Kyle Pitts and Russell Gage. This is a game that I really want to target. So I will probably have some Matt Ryan. This could potentially be the shootout of the day. If it ain't Tennessee and Arizona, this could very likely be the one. They're at home in the Dome, so it's going to be an interesting one to watch, and we know what Matt Ryan's capable of. He could throw the ball 50 times a game. He could throw the ball 40 times a game. He could get 300-plus yards for you on any given Sunday. So, yeah, I'll roster him for sure. Now, Baker Mayfield, he's a huge question mark in my opinion. I really don't know if I will get to him or not. It is the highest scoring game on the slate. I like him for season long, but I really don't know if I'll get to him this week due to some other values. But this is a game that's the highest scoring game, and it could go overlooked. Now, we said earlier Jalen Hurts was probably going to be the highest owned cash game quarterback, but in my opinion, Joe Burrow could probably be the highest owned quarterback on this slate for many reasons, and we're going to go through them right here, right now. Okay, first off, Joe Burrow, 5,700. I don't like the fact that people are saying Joe Burrow is criminally underpriced. We know what he did last year before he got hurt. I personally got stunned by this because I was playing him a lot this week, and he was like one of my top 4 or 5 owned quarterbacks, and he was doing great, and then he just got hurt. So I really know what you guys are talking about, but I don't think he's criminally underpriced. The highest price he was all year long was week 4 against Jacksonville, and I believe that was a Thursday night game. So I don't think he's criminally underpriced, but I will let you guys play Joe Burrow all you want in cash games. He's not underpriced. 5,500, 5,700, 6,200. He's where he's supposed to be. But the problem is his pass catchers are not where they're supposed to be. Let's take a look at this real quick. Okay, first off, why is Tyler Boyd the most expensive wide receiver on this team? And why is he 5,200? Now, I get it. He had some good games with Joe Burrow last year, and he had some good games just all throughout the season. I believe he is going to be a big part of the game plan. So maybe there's a reason why he's overpriced, but then you get to T. Higgins. T. Higgins, my opinion, he was the best receiver on this team last year, and there's no debate in my mind. T. Higgins should be anywhere between 5,500 and 6K, in my opinion. And you're getting him at a discount. If I told you Marvin Jones was my favorite value on this slate, T. Higgins would be right up there too. I'm going to get a lot of T. Higgins. Just in one-offs and whatnot, because he is that good. T. Higgins, I would take T. Higgins over Tyler Boyd. And now you get to the conversation of the rookie, Jamar Chase. Listen, I know him and Burrow played together in college. I know that they're really excited about him, but I really don't see any reason why he's more expensive, even though it's just $100 more, than T. Higgins. He should be at least 4 to 3K like the rest of them, but he's got the hype that Davonte Smith has. He's got the hype that he's going to be this next up-and-coming Justin Jefferson, and I'm just not sold on it. I'm really not. I don't have a lot of them in season-long leagues. I didn't draft them a lot in best ball. I'm just not big on them, but I'm really going to look here. T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. I'll probably play a little Jamar Chase, but this Joe Burrow stack is not something that I really want to be a part of. I just think that this game is getting a lot of attention that it shouldn't from the wrong players. I really don't think Joe Burrow is going to outplay Kirk Cousins. We'll see. I'm going to have some, but I'm just not as high on it as others. And now, so we got the Joe Burrow. Carson Wentz, we don't know if he's going to play yet or not. And like I said, could be a really slow game, and I don't really see myself getting much on the Indianapolis side. Jimmy Garoppolo, we watched last night. I don't really think he's going to start week 1. We still got some time to tell us if he is, but as of right now, Garoppolo week 1, I don't think it's happening. We can discuss it in further detail if we find something out, before the regular season, before our first look in week 1. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'm kind of interested. Like, my ears are perked up a little bit, but I really don't think I'm going to get to Ryan Fitzpatrick week 1. I like his pass catchers. I like Terry McLaurin. I like Logan Thomas. I'm not getting Ryan Fitzpatrick. I've been hearing a lot of good things about the Chargers defense, and I even watched some of the game yesterday with the 49ers and Chargers, and the Chargers defense looks legit. And I'm not sold on the Ryan Fitzpatrick thing yet. I mean, we've seen him play in preseason a little bit, and he looks all right. But against the Chargers, that's just a heavy pill to swallow. They got a great defense, great front, great secondary. Not for me. Now, Cam Newton. He's another guy we're not 100% sure if he will start week 1. But if he does, I got a little interest. Just a little. He's got great rushing upside at 5,400. We look at his game last year against the Dolphins, week 1. He played well. He got 25 fantasy points on $6,100 salary. So you're telling me we're knocking him down $600. Almost against the exact same team. And a lot of people have came out and said that this defense of Miami's is actually worse than it was last year. So I like Cam Newton week 1. If he gets the opportunity, he's got rushing upside. He rushed for 2 touchdowns against this team week 1 last year. I really think that he could make some noise. He's got a better passing group than he did last year, and I really like it. Now, Tua, on the other hand, I'm not playing Tua this week. There's just too much questions on this receiver core. The only pass catcher I like out of this team is a tight end, and Mike Gesicki. I really don't know if Devontae Parker is going to be healthy. If Will Fuller's not playing because of suspension. He's got 1 game left on his suspension, but he's gotten hurt in camp with his foot. Preston Williams, hurt. Just a lot going on for Miami, and I don't think I want to be a part of it. At least not for week 1. We got some things to watch. I'm not sold on this team, not by the slightest. Tyrod Taylor, look, I like Tyrod Taylor. I've watched him for years, and I think he's a good quarterback, but I just don't see him. If there were a game, this could be it for him. I think this could potentially be his best opportunity to have a good game for fantasy purposes this season. I'm not too interested in him. I probably won't play him at all. Then we get to Daniel Jones. I'm not playing Daniel Jones. I'm sorry, guys. There's just too many other good options to play Daniel Jones. If you guys want to jump in on that bandwagon, if you think the Giants got it all figured out, go for it. But their offensive line is going to be a mess. Their defense is going to have to win them games. Not sure what Saquon Barkley is going to look like week 1. I'm just not playing them. Now, if they were playing the Dallas Cowboys, maybe that'd be a little different story, but I'm not touching this game at all. Now, this is where it gets interesting here. Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill. This is probably the biggest quarterback competition because I really do think the media and all of us have no idea what they're going to do. We got an idea in San Francisco. We got an idea in New England. But I just don't know. Jameis Winston? He should start. And if he does, I would have more interest in this game for stacking purposes. But if Taysom Hill starts, we're on a whole different menu here. I would probably only play Adam Trautman if I wanted to stack Taysom Hill. But I don't even think stacking Taysom Hill is going to be very viable. And if Taysom Hill starts, I might want less of Aaron Rodgers, just in the sense that the game will be slower. It will be more of a defensive battle, and it would be hard to find run back options for Green Bay. So, yeah, depending on who starts here, I might be off this game. Then you get down to Jared Goff. I'm not playing Jared Goff. I think that's going to be a blowout. I could see Jared Goff throwing anywhere between 2 and 3 interceptions. I'm just not into this game at all, for the Detroit side at least. Then you get to Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson. I've recently been researching this game a little bit, and I really think Sam Darnold, you should play him. Sam Darnold has a great opportunity here to resurrect his career. He's gotten out from under the terrible Adam Gase. He's got the best receiving core he's ever had. He's got the best running back he's ever had. And news coming out of camp is the Carolina defense looks like it's improved a lot over last year's. And you're playing a rookie quarterback. It's your former team. You want to prove them why they were wrong, why they shouldn't have gave up on you. I really like this game. Stacking purposes, CMC, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, those guys. And there's another rookie value I'm excited about. And Darris Marshall Jr. This guy looks legit. I don't know how much we'll see of him in week 1, but if he's the number 3 wide receiver on the depth chart and you're telling me he's taking over Curtis Samuel's role on this team, you better believe he's going to get rostered on my side. I might even end up liking him more than Rondell Moore in a sense, because I've heard great things about Rondell Moore, but I've heard some good things about Darris Marshall Jr., and I really think we could do some damage here at this price point. You're not going to get any better than that. But look, and I know we've gone long on this quarterbacks, but I really think when I'm preparing for my week, I start with quarterbacks. And I know everybody's got something different when they start, but I really start with quarterbacks. I look at quarterbacks ownership, and I literally get a pad and I write down every stack possible for all the quarterbacks I like. Or not every stack possible, but every stack valuable. And I do that. That's what I do. And that's why I thought it was so important to go through the quarterbacks here. But I think we'll stop at Zach Wilson. I mean, you got Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. I'm not interested in any of them. If Trey Lance ends up starting at 44 or 4,500, you better believe he's locked. He's locked, guys. Mac Jones, if he gets the start, you got to consider him being the number 1 lock in cash games. But I really think Trey Lance will be, if he starts, he will be the lock, and it'll be hard to get away from him. And then you get down to Jacob Eason and Sam Ehlinger. If Carson Wentz doesn't play, I'm not touching that. I'm not going down that far. So we just went through quarterbacks for about an hour, and I really think they're the most important. But now we're going to go through running backs real quick. Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook. Those are workhorse guys, and if there was any week to play these guys, it would be this week because prices are wonkers. I gotta say, in week 1 of the NFL is like the wild, wild west. So much value, so much opportunity. It's crazy. And I'm getting to these two guys a lot. And if I had to pick a favorite out of the two, I really think it's going to be Dalvin Cook. I think Dalvin Cook will have a better game than Christian McCaffrey this week. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Derrick Henry, he's going to be a run-back option for me in my favorite game of the week. We've talked about this on both sides. This is going to be a great scoring game, in my opinion, and I'm going to be on Derrick Henry, but I will have definitely more Dalvin Cook and Christian McCaffrey. I'll have a little Derrick Henry. A lot of people are pointing towards regression from him this season, and I could definitely see that happening. Now, this is interesting. Alvin Kamara is probably the biggest question mark at running back this week. Who is starting at quarterback really will tell you how Alvin Kamara is going to do. If Taysom Hill starts, just kiss this Alvin Kamara dream goodbye. But if Jameis Winston starts, you better believe I might put Alvin Kamara ahead of Christian McCaffrey, ahead of Dalvin Cook. If Jameis Winston's starting, I will still have some interest in Alvin Kamara either way this week because I like the Aaron Rodgers stack, and you got to have some run back options for your stacks. So, of course, I will play some Alvin Kamara this week regardless of who's starting, but I would feel a whole lot better about it, and I would probably play a lot more Alvin Kamara and other lineups that don't include the Green Bay game if I knew Jameis Winston was a starter, but that's the biggest question mark. Now you get down to Jonathan Taylor. Big breakout year for the rookie last year. He's at a good price point, but like I said, this game is going to be slow. Indianapolis has all their running backs back, and we're not sure how much work he's going to get this season. I could definitely see him being one of those running backs that just breaks the slate because he went off. But as of right now, he's not like a big part of my player pool. If I can get to him a little bit, I will. But 2 weeks out, he's not looking to be somebody I'm really into. Saquon Barkley, I'm fading him completely. I'm not playing Saquon Barkley. It's more of a wait-and-see approach for me. Poor offensive line. Daniel Jones throws him into situations where he gets hit instantly, and I'm not comfortable with playing Saquon Barkley. Nick Chubb, someone I am interested in. Like we were talking about at the beginning of the video, this is the highest point projected game, and I could definitely see Nick Chubb go out there week 1, fresh legs. The freshest Nick Chubb's going to be all season long is week 1. And I expect him to make an impact in this game. And I really like him. I will try to get to him as much as I can. He's definitely a top 5 running back for me. Austin Ekeler, I'm excited to play Austin Ekeler. I've heard great things out of camp. The new regime and the coaching staff has got us excited about Austin Ekeler as potentially being the breakout player in fantasy this year. There's a lot of what ifs with this guy. If he can stay healthy the next 2 weeks, and if he can make a splash in week 1, I'm there. I want some Austin Ekeler, and I will be rostering him. DeAndre Swift, not into it, and I'll just leave it at that. This game is going to be a blowout. DeAndre Swift, be lucky if he gets some receiving yards in garbage time. I don't see him doing much, especially with his questionable tag. We'll see what happens. Aaron Jones, we talked about him earlier. He's a guy that I'm going to be on, and he's cheap. He is cheap, and he is a record. He's a record-breaking slate guy. He will break a slate for you if he gets the opportunity. And I could see this being an opportunity. I'm not saying he's going to go completely underlooked, but he will not be high owned like maybe Austin Ekeler or some of these guys under him. And I'm all over it. I love Aaron Jones in week 1. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's got this questionable tag. I'm kind of hesitant to roster him if it doesn't involve the Browns or Patrick Mahomes and the rest of the roster construction. I'll play him a little bit. He's got a little bit to prove this year. We've heard some good things coming out of camp, and I really hope he's healthy for week 1 so we can see him at his full potential. But right now, it's just not looking that good. Be sure to get some Jerick McKinnon in your later rounds in your fantasy drafts coming up. Miles Sanders. I love Miles Sanders this week. I think everybody's going to be focused on playing Jalen Hurts and Davonte Smith and Dallas Goedert, and they're not going to be focusing on Miles Sanders. I know this is a road game and we don't like playing running backs on the road, but this is going to be one of the high point totals that we are excited about. This could potentially be the highest scoring game of the week if things go certain ways. I like Miles Sanders, and I think the offense is going to be ran through Miles Sanders. And we're rostering Miles Sanders this week. He might be top 4 or 5 owned running back for me. James Robertson, I think he's going a little underlooked here. I understand Travis Etienne's there, Carlos Hyde's there, but look, James Robinson, he could really go off. I've had this idea since the Travis Etienne's been drafted and how everyone's saying James Robinson's value has dropped. Well, no doubt that his value has dropped. And that could be a good thing for us in this week 1 game. Think about it like this. Travis Etienne, he could be the next Alvin Kamara. James Robinson could play that Mark Ingram role that we saw in New Orleans be so successful for those 3 or 4 years they were there together. I'm not saying that I'm going to roster a lot of James Robinson, but I'm keeping my eye out on this situation, and I'm not completely sold that we should just write off James Robinson. He's at a $6,400 price tag for a reason. They're playing probably, if Detroit's not the worst team in the league, Houston is a good second, if not the worst. So I think they get out early. I think they run the ball a lot in the second half. And I could see James Robinson going out and balling out. Now, I wasn't really interested in the quarterbacks in this game, but I will play a little Najee Harris. He's the new toy in the fantasy world that everybody wants, and I understand it. He's great, but as of right now, I'm taking a wait and see approach in a way. I will play him a little bit, but I really like Miles Sanders more. I like some guys under him a little bit more. I like him more than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Aaron Jones, I love way more than Najee. I'll get him a little bit, but he's more of a wait-and-see guy for me. Now, Joe Mixon, he's going overlooked, guys. Giovanni Bernard is not on the team anymore. So, with that being said, everybody is on those pass catchers we talked about when we were discussing Joe Burrow. I love the fact that not a lot of people are talking about Joe Mixon. Will he be owned? Of course. Will Joe Burrow and his receivers be more owned than Joe Mixon? I think absolutely. So Joe Mixon is somebody that I am definitely going to be on in the coming weeks. Then we get to Myles Gaskin. I'm just really not sold on this Miami offense for week 1. It's against New England. I think New England's defense is going to be revamped. I think they're coming out with something to prove. And I think this Miami offense will be set as an example for week 1. So I'm staying away. Chris Carson, told you this game could potentially be slow. And if Seattle does get out early, I like seeing maybe Chris Carson being the reason why they get out early. I could definitely see Russell Wilson getting the ball down the field with DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett, and Chris Carson rushing the red zone. So I got a little interest in Chris Carson. We got a couple weeks to see if that interest comes up a little bit. But I'm real excited about this 5K range because I feel like it's going to go a bit overlooked. So I like Chris Carson, but I love Antonio Gibson. I think Antonio Gibson has got some workhorse potential. And I really think he's got a great opportunity here to come out and get 20 rushes. And this could be a ground and pound game. We love Justin Herbert. We love Ryan Fitzpatrick. But this could be a ground and pound game. If Washington has this game go the way they want it to, if this game goes Washington's way, Antonio Gibson, he's going to be a factor. But if Ryan Fitzpatrick comes out and throws 2 picks early and they get out to a 14-point lead, Gibson's out. So I really think as of right now, I got Gibson on my radar, but he's not someone that I must have. And then we get to Raheem Mostert. Now, Raheem Mostert, I like him. And nothing out of 49ers training camp says otherwise that Raheem Mostert is starting or not starting. I think he starts. I think he plays a lot. I think San Francisco gets a big lead. But mind you, this is a home game for Detroit. San Francisco might not be as dominant on the road, but Raheem Mostert is someone I'm definitely keeping an eye on in the coming weeks. David Johnson has been reported to be a third down back. I really don't know what's going on with this Houston Texans backfield. I assume Philip Lindsay would probably be my favorite option out of this backfield, and we'll get to him in a little bit, but I'm not playing David Johnson. You couldn't pay me to play David Johnson. He is not getting the same work he got last year. This running back room is filled. Capital F-I-L-L-E-D, filled. And I'm not high on any specific running back from Houston. If you put a gun to my head, Philip Lindsay would be that guy. And then we get to Kareem Hunt. I like him for many of the reasons why I said I like Nick Chubb. He's not going to be a workhorse. Nick Chubb is not going to be a full-time workhorse, but he will get sugar-coated with carries. I could definitely see Kareem Hunt being a big splash play early in this game. He's someone I got my radar on, and I will play in Kansas City stacks as run back options, but it's not someone that I think I should have in multiple other lineups. So we go to Mike Davis. Now, Mike Davis, early in the process when these salaries first came out, I was not really looking at Mike Davis like I should have. But in the last week, 2 weeks, Mike Davis has been a guy that's really been popping out for me. We think this game has a great shootout potential. It's a home game for Atlanta, and I think Atlanta should be the favorites. I really like Mike Davis, and I think that this will be a game he gets his. I will be rostering him a lot. Melvin Gordon, I really don't like this game, but I'll try to get to a little bit of Melvin Gordon just for the fact that he is the starter. This will be a slow ground and pound game in my opinion. I don't think this will be a fast-paced game. Melvin Gordon should get his touches, and I think he's got a great opportunity. And then we'll move on to Harris. I'm not really sold on that. I'm not sold on McKissick. Alex Smith isn't the quarterback anymore, so we don't know how much he's going to get peppered with targets like he did last year. So that's more of a wait-and-see approach for me. Alexander Madison, I'm not playing him. We got Dalvin Cook. Why is he 5K? Why is he 5K? Sorry, technical difficulties there. Yeah, we're not playing Alexander Madison. Nyheim Hines, if we like the pace of this game, like I said, is going to be slow. If we start changing our mind, Nyheim Hines looks good, but not really interested. Tevin Coleman could be an interest. Robert Saleh coached him with the 49ers. I could really see Tevin Coleman being that splash surprise in this cheaper range. Travis Etienne, I want to play him a little bit. Like I said in that Trevor Lawrence synopsis, he could potentially be a breakout player, and I would like to get to him, but I mean, he's not going to be a top priority by any means. And then we get Darrell Williams. I'm not sold on him. I really like Jerick McKinnon more. Sony Michel, like I just said with Harris, we don't know this New England backfield quite yet, and I'm not really willing to take a risk on it. Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, I'm not sure who's going to get the big workload. A lot of people have said Zach Moss is going to take a next big step, but I don't want anything to do with these running backs against Pittsburgh's defense, who could be the best defense in the league this year. And I mentioned Phillip Lindsay. I'm not touching this Houston backfield, but he looks to be the starter. He won't be an every down back, but I think he'll get majority of the carries. He's the youngest running back in that locker room, but injury prone. And just an ugly situation. We talked about Chase Edmonds. He's the RB1 for Arizona. He's a pass catching back. He should get more carries than James Conner and receptions, so he's a sneaky play that a lot of people aren't really considering, and I'd roster him if I have Kyler Murray on the roster as well. Trey Sermon could be the starter. We noticed that he didn't play in the preseason game yesterday, so that's something to keep an eye on. His injury tag said due to an ankle injury. We don't know the seriousness of this ankle injury, but if that's the case, Raheem Mostert looks even better. Jamal Williams, not interested. James Conner, not interested. Even though James Conner could be a vulture for this team at the goal line for Kyler Murray and Chase Edmonds. So that's something to keep an eye on. More of a wait-and-see approach for me. Ty Johnson, not interested. There's somebody else a little further down here that I want to talk about. And then we got Mark Ingram, not interested in this Texans backfield. No. Latavius Murray is someone to keep an eye on, especially if... Look, here's my take on Latavius Murray. We're without Michael Thomas again, right? So let's just look at last year. When we were without Michael Thomas, Latavius Murray got attempts because Alvin Kamara was more of a part of the passing game last year than the rushing game. I could see Latavius Murray being someone that Sean Payton wants to use. I'm interested. I'm not overly hyped, but I got some interest in Latavius Murray, especially against this Green Bay defense, who historically has not been good with the run. And then we get to Mckinnon, who I recently talked about. I like him, especially if CH is not going to play or maybe gets limited snaps. Then we get down to these couple of guys I want to talk about. Michael Carter from the New York Jets. He's the starter. From what training camp has told us, he's the starter. I could definitely see a world where Tevin Coleman takes over week 1. But I could also see Michael Carter being the best value at running back on this slate. And I will roster him, especially when you want to get to those high-priced wide receivers and quarterbacks. You got to get some salary reduction somewhere, and Michael Carter looks to be that guy. If he gets anywhere between 10 to 15 carries, he could easily meet his value. So Michael Carter, probably the cheapest option I'm willing to go to. I got a little hype about Javonte Williams from Denver, but he doesn't look to be starting. So all in all, I think that's all we can really talk about with the running back position. So let's move on to Davante Adams and the wide receivers. We've talked about Davante Adams and Tyreek Hill. Calvin Ridley, of course, is good. DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Jefferson. I'm not really going to be big on Stephon Diggs for the reasons I talked about, but Josh Allen, this is just not a game that I'm really excited about. We like DK Metcalf. We love A.J. Brown with Ryan Tannehill. Adam Thielen, he's someone that looks to be taking some regression. I'm going to play him. If I'm interested in Kirk Cousins, I'm interested in his pass catchers. And the 1-2 punch is Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. So you got to have Thielen. Keenan Allen is someone I really enjoy watching. I'm not really that big on Justin on Justin Herbert. But I will have some interest in Keenan Allen, specifically for week 1. He should get the most targets out of all the receivers. Julio Jones. If I'm interested in Ryan Tannehill, I'm going to be interested in Julio Jones, guys. He's got a lot to prove this season on a brand new team. I expect him to be high owned. I like A.J. Brown a little bit more than Julio. But we'll see. I like it. Tyler Lockett, we've discussed. This is someone I do want to highlight for a second. Terry McLaurin. We understand that Curtis Samuel is dealing with some injuries. We know he's came back to practice, but I really like Terry McLaurin. I think he's the most dominant receiver on this team, and he really doesn't have anyone on this team that's like gonna take away a bunch of targets from him. Fitzpatrick seems to really like him. He's a good one-off player for me in other lineups that don't include stacking. I will try to get to him as much as I possibly can because he's just awesome. Deonte Johnson, like I said, I'm not really interested in this game, but if I was to have to pick a player just off of watching last year, Deonte Johnson's that guy. He gets targets peppered to him, and I will be interested. He's a good pivot off of Terry McLaurin for one-offs, and I will keep my eye on that. I'm not interested in Juju Smith-Schuster, especially not at this price. He got low in salary at the end of last year. I just don't understand why he's getting all this love. So I'm not interested. Not by the slightest. Because we don't know when he's going to go off. DJ Moore recently got on the injury chart, but I like Sam Darnold. I like his pass catchers. He's someone I'm definitely going to be on in the coming weeks. I don't know if I'll be on him more than Robbie Anderson, but we also got to watch this injury tag. Obviously, he didn't play in the preseason, but he has a back issue, and that's not something you really want to see out of your wide receiver. So, like we said, we got 2 weeks before the regular season. I really think DJ Moore is someone to keep an eye on. Then, Jarvis Landry. Like we said, highest point total. I'm going to have some Jarvis Landry. I think he's better than Odell Beckham. I'll have more Jarvis Landry than Odell Beckham. Just a great receiver. Deebo Samuel was dealing with injury. I'll be on him a little bit, but I really like Brandon Aiyuk a lot more. Brandon Aiyuk looks to be taking off this season. I think he's the closest thing to a true wide receiver on this team. Deebo Samuel, he's more of a gadget guy. I really like Brandon Aiyuk. Like we said, Robbie Anderson, we like him more than DJ Moore. And we'll definitely have some pieces of that game. Chase Claypool, not interested. Not interested in Kenny Galladay. Not interested in Mike Williams. No. Odell Beckham, we got some interest. We hadn't seen him play in a long time. He could come back feeling like $1 million. He needs to play like $1 million. I mean, this team is paying him, and for the amount of games he's missed, he's got to get on a roll for me to get my eyes up. But I am interested. I will play some Odell Beckham. Not a lot, but I will play. And then we got Russell Gage. Russell Gage, I got interest. I love this game environment. I'm going to play him. Then you get to Brandon Cooks. He might be the only Texans player I play. Seriously. I might only play Brandon Cooks. I like Trevor Lawrence, and I like to stack Trevor Lawrence. And Brandon Cooks might be the only run back option. I might consider some Philip Lindsay. You're honestly right now, you're just guessing if you think you know what the Texans are going to do. Brandon Cooks is the best receiver on this team, but I could easily see him take a back seat, and I could easily see him being traded somewhere before this trade deadline. I could easily see Brandon Cooks getting traded or released. He might even be a cut candidate by the end of the preseason. We'll see. I really don't know. Then you get to Tyler Boyd. We got some interest. Cortland Sutton, not someone we really want to play. Jacoby Myers, interested. I'm interested in Cam Newton. I like Jacoby Myers. He's shown up in preseason. He's making a name for himself in New England. He could be that next stable wide receiver for Mac Jones in the future. I see big things out of Jacoby Myers this year. I like Sterling Shepard. But this game is not the game to play him. Laviska Shenault, we've already discussed him. He's awesome. I will be playing him. I'm not interested in Curtis Samuel. I got some interest in Corey Davis. We talked about the Carolina side of this game. I'm not sure if I'm going to play Zach Wilson yet, but I really do like his pass catchers. I love Corey Davis in this game. I really like someone else we're going to get to here in a little bit, and Elijah Moore. This is going to be a great game. Okay. Tre'Quan Smith, like I said, we got to know who's starting at quarterback. I like Jameis Winston and Tre'Quan Smith. If Jameis Winston's a starter, but we just got to hit that wait-and-see approach. Jamar Chase, we've already discussed. We got a little bit of interest, but we like the other two guys, and Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins a lot more. Nicole Hardman, we got some interest. I got a little interest in Jerry Jeudy. I mean, I hate Drew Lock, and I don't know if Teddy Bridgewater's starting. But if Teddy Bridgewater's starting, I got some interest in Jerry Jeudy. Teddy Bridgewater's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. Jerry Jeudy needs an accurate quarterback. There was some stats I read about him where, like, he was most targeted receiver deep down the field, but Drew Lock was just too inconsistent and couldn't get to him. If Jerry Jeudy can connect on some of those deeper passes, which Teddy Bridgewater was like top 10 or something in deep passes last year, I see a big uptick for Jerry Jeudy, and I hope it starts week 1 as I got some interest. Interested in T. Higgins, like we already discussed. I'm not really interested in T.Y. Hilton. I think T.Y. Hilton is just becoming dust, and he won't be on my rosters. Jamison Crowder, we like him. Will Fuller, suspended, unfortunately. We got a little interest in Davonte Smith, a little interest in Christian Kirk, like we discussed. Kiki Kute, kind of forgot about him a little bit. But if I had to do some run back options from Houston, I guess him and Brandon Cooks could be some options. I'm not extremely excited about this Houston team. Don't really know the direction they're going in and who they like. We got to do some research on that. Nelson Aguilar, he should take a little back seat to Jacoby Myers. I'm not like really extremely high on him. Don't know if I'll play him very much. If I play Cam Newton, I might have some of him, but I'm not like extremely big. Cole Beasley, not interested. Not interested in these guys down here. I like Demarcus Robinson. I like Higgins a little bit. Maybe some Pittman. That's a great price for Pittman, guys. $4,100 for Michael Pittman. He's the number 1 receiver on that team, and he's $4,100. You're telling me he doesn't have some value? I'm interested. I like that. Especially if I'm playing Russell Wilson, Michael Pittman might be my number 1 run back option for the Colts. We didn't really talk about Travis Fulgham. I'd play him a little bit, but I really like Jalen Reagor more and Devontae Smith more. Cam Sims, not very interested. Let's see here. Randall Cobb, someone I got on the radar. If I like Aaron Rodgers, I like his pass catchers, and I think their first game back together in Green Bay, they'll be at New Orleans, but their first game back together, I think Aaron Rodgers makes it a mission to get Randall Cobb touches and a touchdown their first game back together. So I could definitely see that being something. We talked about A.J. Green. We talked about Reagor. We like those guys. Marvin Jones Jr., like I said, will be a value. We love this value. I think he's the best value on the slate for wide receivers. Like Callaway, like I said, if Jameis Winston starts, I mean, even if Taysom starts, I'll have a little bit of Marquez Callaway because you gotta be able to run back your options with Green Bay. So he's definitely one of those. I think I might even like him more than Traquan Smith. So that's someone that we're keeping an eye on as we prepare for this season. And then you get down to these 3K guys. I don't have a lot of interest. Like I told you, I like Elijah Moore from the New York Jets. He's dealing with the quadriceps injury, so that doesn't look very good. But if he's starting week 1, I will have some interest in him. And then the other Moore, Rondell Moore, who we already discussed, really like him. I think he meets value, guys. I think he meets value in a big way. 3K, he's going to get snaps. He's going to be out there. And then Darris Marshall, another rookie 3K. If he's in line to get starts, and like during the preseason, he's gotten targeted, he's gotten looks. So if he's on the field, I'm playing him, guys. He's too cheap. If he gets that Curtis Samuel role, we gotta watch out. But that's all I gotta say about wide receiver. We can go to tight end, and we won't go over defense. It's too early to talk about defenses. I might, when we build a lineup, I'll discuss defense a little bit, but we'll just go over tight end real fast. Travis Kelce, obviously, you want him in your lineup if you can afford him. I'm going to show you a lineup where you can fit Travis Kelce in there with Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes, and I would feel really good about that roster. You get George Kittle. I think a lot of people are going to get on this George Kittle bandwagon as we get closer to the regular season, especially if Trey Lance starts or Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, either one. He's a good play. Those quarterbacks are cheap enough to get to George Kittle, and you got plenty of value left afterwards. I could definitely see George Kittle going out there and trying to take back what the top of that tight end food chain. TJ Hawkinson, don't have a lot of interest, but I mean, he could be the leading receiver on this team this year. I think most weeks he'll get targeted more than any wide receiver. One receiver I did forget to mention, I'm sorry, we can just go back real quick, is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I really don't like this Detroit core, but this is somebody in garbage time that could pick up some touches because Tyrell Williams and Brashad Perriman are on this Detroit receiving core, and they are injury prone. And if the 49ers are blowing them out, I don't see why they wouldn't put St. Brown out there. But yeah, we can go back to tight ends. I just forgot to mention that guy. He's also a rookie, 3K. Yeah, so Dallas Goedert, we've already talked about this. He's a good option. I'm going to get some of them. Hunter Henry, we're not really sure on his injury destination. It doesn't seem like a serious injury. I know he hurt his shoulder. I don't expect him to play anymore in the preseason, and I hope that he's back week 1. But if I had to pick out a Hunter Henry and Jonnu, I go with Jonnu because Jonnu's cheaper, and he's not healthy either, but I think he's got some upside there. Logan Thomas, probably Ryan Fitzpatrick's favorite target on this team. We've heard good things out of their rapport in camp, and if things go the way Washington wants it to in this game, I could definitely see Logan Thomas being the reason why, along with Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin. But I think Logan Thomas is a good play. Mike Gesicki, like I told you, this Miami receiving core It's just really confusing right now. A lot of injuries, Will Fuller suspension. I can see Mike Gesicki being the top guy out of the pass catchers for Miami. Got some interest. We didn't really talk about Kyle Pitts when I was discussing Philly and Atlanta earlier, but he's going to be the highest owned tight end, guys. And I don't really understand the hype. I mean, he hasn't yet played an NFL game yet, and he could easily disappoint. But with that being said, if you're playing cash, I understand why you would play him, but tournaments, I'm not really on this bandwagon. I'm more of an wait and see approach. I mean, if I'm playing Matt Ryan, obviously I'll have some Kyle Pitts, but I'm not like going out of my way to make sure he's in other lineups that don't have Kyle Pitts or the Jalen Hurts stack in them with the run back options. I'm not like gonna go after that per se. Noah Fant, he's good. I mean, he'll probably get some touches, but I'm just not really interested in this game. Irv Smith Jr., he's interesting because a lot of people are going to go after Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, and they're not thinking about this guy. And this guy, he's going to have a breakout year this year, guys. No Kyle Rudolph to slow him down this year. I really think this team is going to make an effort to get him more involved this year, and I really like him as a good run back option against Cincinnati. Gonna go a bit underlooked in my opinion. We like Robert Tonyan for the reasons we said before. If we're stacking Green Bay, Robert Tonyan's got to be on that list. Look, he got 12 touchdowns last year. I'm not expecting that to happen again now with Randall Cobb there, and Davante Adams is in a contract year, so I really think that this team is going to make an effort to get Davante Adams involved. But Robert Tonyan, a good option if you're stacking Green Bay. Not someone I personally want to roster if I had to without a Green Bay stack. So we go on Jonnu Smith. We talked about him. We prefer him over Hunter Henry. Not high on either one of those, though. Evan Ingram, interested. Austin Hooper, I'm a little interested. I read something about a week ago saying that David Njoku is fighting for a contract, and he wants to stay with the Browns. I could definitely see a world where these roles reverse and you get Njoku coming out and like a bat out of hell and just outperforming Austin Hooper. I could definitely see that. Austin Hooper, he's got his money. Njoku's fighting for his. So that's something to keep an eye on with the rest of training camp progressing. And we got to look at depth charts. But as of right now, I'm interested in Austin Hooper a little bit. And I got a little interest in David Njoku as well. We got interested in Zach Ertz. I'm not really going to play Jared Cook in this game. I could see myself playing him when I'm interested in Justin Herbert, but I'm not super interested in Herbert in this game. That might be a mistake on my part. We might change our mind once we get some more projections out and more ownership out. We might change our mind on this Justin Herbert idea, but right now the only two players I'm interested in the Chargers are Keenan Allen and Austin Ekeler. Let's just move on there. Hayden Hurst, he's someone I might keep an eye on. I mean, he's a good tight end, guys. I know they drafted Kyle Pitts to replace him, but Hayden Hurst can catch balls, and he's got a rapport with Matt Ryan, probably a better rapport with Matt Ryan than Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts will be used in the slot a lot too, so keep an eye on Hayden Hurst. I mean, I'm not going to play him a lot, but I might get him in a couple lineups depending on how much Matt Ryan I get. We like Njoku. I'm not playing Dawson Knox. Gerald Everett, we've talked about. He's newly acquired. Heard great things in camp. We'll see what goes on there. Anthony Firsker. If you like Ryan Tannehill stacks, you gotta have some Firsker in it to get those Arizona options. He's cheap, so you gotta get that. I'm not really sold on Jack Doyle or Mo Alley Cox. You really want to play those guys when one of them's not playing. Drew Sample, not interested. Let's see. I kind of interested in Tyler Conklin a little bit at the $2,900 price tag. He's taken over that Kyle Rudolph role, but I think they're going to make more of a push for Irv Smith. And I think the last tight end one of the last tight ends I'm going to talk about here is Adam Trautman. I think he is the best option if Taysom Hill is starting at quarterback, just because he's the cheapest and he's a tight end, which means he's not going to have to throw super far downfield to get to Trautman. I like him either way. I like him with Jameis. I like him with Taysom. So that's someone I am going to roster quite a bit just because of the price tag and the opportunity that he could get. And the last tight end I want to talk about is Dan Arnold. Sam Darnold loves to throw to his tight ends. It's no secret, but I don't know if that was more because of Adam Gase's offense or not. But Dan Arnold is definitely somebody that I'll keep an eye on at that price tag. Pretty interesting price tag there. Okay, so let's build a lineup.